Now, Lukoil, Russia's largest non-state oil producer, did beat analyst estimates for its second quarter earnings, thanks in large part to a government tax break that helped to spur oil production. Joining us now live from Moscow is Lukoil's Director for Strategic Development, Andrei Gaidamaka. Good evening to you, Andrei. Good morning on this side of the ocean. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot of concern that the price of oil is going to continue to be under pressure. You see more than a 3% decline in today's session. What's your outlook on the price of crude?
Well, you see, you just mentioned we were at about $58 a barrel in the second quarter, and we managed to generate about $2.3 billion of net profit and about $4.1 billion of EBITDA, and surprised most of the analysts. But as far as crude oil now, the inventories have been falling for a few weeks, but they still remain at a fairly high level. Yet I do believe that $70, give or take, this is a fairly comfortable level for both producers and consumers at the same time.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is driving the price of oil right now? There's a lot of anticipation ahead of that September 9th OPEC meeting about whether or not production will stay at current levels. What's driving the price right now, and what's your outlook there on production?
Well, I think that OPEC has already indicated that they are not very likely to change their production quotas either way. So that does not seem to be a significant driver now. What is a real driver is the situation with the Chinese economy and general sort of the general outlook for the world economy. Yet I think that what makes companies like Lukoil a bit different is that we are very vertically integrated company, and when we get a bit of a slap on the crude side, we get better results on the refining side in Russia, for example. That has been a fantastic performer for us, and our refining volumes are up about 11% year on year.
You just mentioned refineries. Tomorrow, September the 1st, Lukoil has plans to complete the purchase of that stake in a Dutch refinery. Looking out across the horizon, do you have further plans to acquire other refineries? Are you interested in that space?
Well, I think that with that very large acquisition, I think that we have mostly fulfilled the plans for both southern and Baltic expansion. So I think we will be more picky going forward. But we are still interested in further expansion of our international business in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, international expenditures, your CEO had said when your earnings were released at the end of last week that there was further interest in capital spending on the international side. There's been a lot of talk about Lukoil's interest in oil fields in Iraq. You are participating in the bidding process for those available oil fields. What are you interested in?
Well, that we don't make a big secret out of the fact that we are interested to work in Iraq, and that's one of the biggest upstream reserve bases and the countries with one of the highest potentials. And we have been interested, and that has not been a secret, in West Kirna fields, and we're continuing, to work on that.
Roskina fields, is that in addition to the Khorna field?
Well, that's West Kirna. That's
the same field.
That's the ones I'm talking about, yes.
And it's only that? You're not expanding your interest in Iraq right now?
Well, I would rather not go into more talk about our plans there, but that has remained and still remains our biggest focus.
Mm-hmm. So those comments in terms of interest in the international space, where is that focused? If it's not necessarily in oil fields and not necessarily in the refinery area right now?
Well, we have been expanding our upstream operations at over 15% CAGR in the last 5 or 6 years. Our upstream segment of Lukoil, international upstream segment, is close to 200,000 barrels per day of production today. that already by itself is a fairly large international oil company. I mean, that international upstream segment of Lukoil. And we're going to continue to work to expand that, and we do have fairly significant projects on stream. We'll continue to develop our plans or our projects in Uzbekistan, and we're going to continue to expand our gas production there. And there is a number of projects that are currently in exploration stage or in negotiation stage, such as projects in Venezuela, for example.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us live from Moscow this morning. Andrei Gaidamaka, he's the Director of Strategic Development of Russian oil giant Lukoil.